What's going on, you guys? Uncle Jesse here. Pixel 2 is back at it again after his 3 printed steering wheel adapter for an Xbox One controller absolutely lit up the internet. He has made a version of that file that now works with the PlayStation 4 controller. Let's get it printed and check it out. Hey, make sure to stick around to the end of the video if you're interested in a detailed look at the full assembly for the steering wheel. Alright, so now that we've got this assembled, let's go in and check out a few different games. Admittedly, I don't really play a lot of driving games on the PlayStation 4, so here I've downloaded a few demos. I've got Gravel, Crew, and Project Cars 2. So we'll jump into the Crew and check that out. This is a pretty great design specifically for the PS4. I do need to dial in some of my settings, I think, to really get this to work as good as I have the Xbox version of this working. This, for me, is just a little bit too tight in some places and a little bit too loose, so I need to go back and look at my print settings just to make sure that I've really got this dialed in. So if you're gonna print one for yourself, make sure to follow the details that Pixel 2 has outlined in the file itself. I'll obviously have links down below to Thingiverse where you can download and print one of these for yourself. Huge thank you to Pixel 2 for actually creating this and sharing it with everybody and hearing the huge response that his initial file got and made a PlayStation version of this for everybody out there. Hey, I just want to say thanks again everybody for watching and tuning in and subscribing and all that crazy stuff. If this is your first time checking out the videos, I just want to say welcome. I do a lot of different 3D printing and cosplay stuff and video game stuff and tech stuff, so thanks for checking out the channel and hope to see you guys soon. Thanks again for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye now. Alright, so I ended up printing my parts over on the CR10 again. I'm using the Amazon Basics PLA that they now offer. This is their blue PLA, and I think this turned out really nice. I ended up going with Pixel 2 settings for this print, which is 0.2mm layer height, 0 for the top, 0 for the bottom, and 16 for the outside perimeters. It gives it a nice, really solid infill. There's no infill needed for this. There's only one piece that requires supports, which is of the frame, very similar to the Xbox frame here. Obviously, slightly different design to fit the PS4 controller. You're gonna end up with 4 pieces to this print. You obviously have the wheel, you have the frame, you're gonna have the rack that helps guide the wheel and connect to the thumbstick, and then the actual pivot piece here that's gonna slide over the thumbstick. Additionally, you're gonna need a paper clip, bearing that you typically use on a skateboard or a fidget spinner, some super glue, and a pair of needle nose pliers. So the assembly is very similar to what we've done for the Xbox One controller, but the minor difference is we're gonna need to use this paper clip to secure the rack to the actual pivot point. So here, I'm gonna get started with this. I'm just gonna install and double check that the bearing here fits nice and snug into the controller, which it does. Additionally, what you can do to make sure that stays nice and secure is put a little bit of super glue in there and wait for that to dry before proceeding to the next step. All right, the next thing that we're gonna do is secure the rack onto the frame. This should snap right on with a little bit of a wiggle and effort here. I should be able to snap this on. There we go. Once I have the rack on the frame, I'm just gonna move this back and forth a little bit to make sure everything's moving as it should be. So I'm gonna take this paper clip and I'm gonna take one of the ends here and I'm gonna take about 3mm, which I know is about the width of my needle nose pliers, and I'm gonna make that a right angle and just double check, but this should slide through here. Excellent. And it does, slides into the pin properly. All right, so once I've got my paper clip here bent, I'm gonna slide it through the rack here and then I'm going to slide the other end through the pivot piece through that hole. And by the way, the hole for the pivot should be pretty secure and snug, while the actual rack connection should be fairly loose. So once we've got the rack and pivot secured together with a paper clip, we're gonna snap this onto the PlayStation controller, test that everything fits and it's nice and secure on there, and then I'm gonna slide the pivot onto the actual thumbstick here, and I installed it upside down. This is why I use a paper clip. Okay, let's try that again. All right, let's try that again now that I've got everything properly set up the way that it should be. I'm gonna snap this onto the controller, then slide the pivot piece over on top of the left thumbstick here. Give it a little test, and it's working. All right, the last thing to do is just install the steering wheel. So we're gonna pop this on and slide it on in. All right, this is looking pretty good. Let's go and test it out.